Okay, just some, I promise to be very brief words on the aspects of cultural values and norms as it relates to acute stress disorder. So I pulled this line from the DSM. Acute stress reactions may be shaped by cultural values and norms regarding the expression of extreme emotions. So two essential things I wanted to share with you about that, just from my point of view. Um, so there can be First of all, let's talk about the interpretation of a traumatic event. So, what may be seen as traumatic for one person is not perceived as traumatic for another person. And a lot of that is in social context. Um, there are places in the world that we could go and spend an hour and experience what we would perceive as severe trauma. Other people, because it's normalized, sadly, might not experience that stuff as trauma. They might still, anyway, even if they're, it's somewhat desensitized to it, but not everybody. So some people, the social circumstance as well as cultural perceptions of what's traumatic and what is not traumatic can come into play. Um, the other thing about expression of extreme emotions, um, there. Here's the way I would say that the idea of cultural influence and social norms on expression of emotions can go in sort of represent two distinct directions. What do I mean by that? So, in some cultures and the social norms and this can mean family systems as well as communities and regions and countries and that kind of thing. Um, the expression of any emotion is discouraged, either implicitly or explicitly. And so people can be in a very emotional state and do everything possible to push those emotions down because it's not okay to express them. Other cultures, again, can be family systems as well as communities, regions, countries, etc. Um, the outward expression of emotion is actually encouraged. So, a lesson in that for me was uh, in the emergency room. Sometimes there would be someone who passed in the emergency room, related to a medical event or a medical condition. And as a social worker, I would help the emergency physicians notify families and bring them in, and working with the staff to give them an opportunity to when you could to see that person, so that they could have some level of closure if they chose to do so. And sometimes people would have outward reactions of emotions that would be almost startling to myself or other staff people. But for them, if I would sit and just try to observe without my own bias or filter in it, in some circumstances, it was clear, at least to me, that what looked like an almost startling expression of emotion that this person or people are in great distress is actually for them a culturally and socially normative expression of emotion in the context. And for them, that outward expression in that moment is actually a way of healing and connecting with the other people who are experiencing that grief with them. So that's what I mean by the sort of two ways of how cultural values and social norms can influence the expression of emotions.